I have to give big comrade thanks to SELMA Music and FLORA for becoming new patrons. It is important we support the work of smaller creators. These videos are made possible by contribution from comrades like you. Спасибо.
Hey y'all, my name is Happy Black Legends, and today I wanted to have a really just off the cuff conversation about something that's sort of been bothering me for the past week. And it's something that I feel like I have a very unique perspective on, and it's something that I'm definitely a lot more sensitive to. So today I wanted to talk about why I think the whole healthy vegan, vegan health stereotype is kind of harmful. Before I get into it, I also, even though I'm saying this, I have to acknowledge the fact that for many people, health is a huge it's a huge force in them becoming vegan, especially when it comes to Black people. I've mentioned this before in a video that I consider to be one of my favorites, honestly, that I've ever made, and that is the history of Black vegans and vegetarians. And for many Black people, health is a huge push towards veganism because within the Black community, unfortunately, a lot of dietary caused illnesses run high and rampant. And it brings up a whole conversation about taking control of our health and our bodies and what we put into our bodies. And so I'm not going to sit here and try to invalidate anyone's, I don't want to sit here and make it seem like there isn't a value to the whole health aspect of the conversation surrounding veganism, okay? I just want to make that clear. However, I also think that critiquing the negatives of something, whether or not if it's a positive thing, is only going to improve the positives of said thing. So why am I having this conversation? Well, for those of you guys that don't know, for those of you guys that are newer subscribers, I have struggled with an eating disorder. I've talked about this not a few times. I've talked about this many times on this channel, to be honest. This channel originally actually started off as sort of an eating disorder journey, diary kind of thing. I don't really know, but that was sort of the main focus of my channel for a while. And before my eating disorder, I was actually obese and overweight for most of my life. So I've dealt with body shaming in many different forms. I've dealt with, being bigger, and I've also dealt with being smaller. I've dealt with body dysmorphia and struggling with food and all of that jazz. Currently, I'm doing extremely well in recovery. Honestly, veganism has really helped me in recovery, and that's my personal experience and my experience alone. I'm not going to sit here and be like, hey, if you no longer want to have if you no longer want to be anorexic, go vegan. That's the dumbest shit. I'm sorry. I would never tell someone that. But for me personally, going vegan, honestly, I do think is one of the main forces that has helped me recover. I just had to give some background before I get started onto the topic of this video. So obviously, being in the vegan community, I do see a lot of vegans, talk about health, and health gets brought up a lot. And I think that it's kind of harmful to assume that all vegans are healthy, or that veganism is the healthiest diet, or that by going vegan, you're going to lose weight, or that being vegan is just the pinnacle of health. First of all, veganism is not a diet, okay? Veganism is a lifestyle. Me going vegan had literally nothing to do with diet. I was already plant-based, and when I made the connection between animal liberation and oppression, and I made the jump to go fully vegan, what changed for me was my thought process and my lifestyle. It wasn't just about what's being put on my plate. Because if that were the case, I would have just continued eating the way I was eating before when I was plant-based, but I didn't. And I think assuming that all vegans are healthy, it puts this huge weight on vegans that's sort of unfair. And I also think it creates this unnecessary conversation. It creates this conversation surrounding like vegans and their health. And I think it's kind of like unfair because a lot of times people are like, oh, vegans are like malnourished and they need to watch their health. And I do think that it's important to make sure that you're getting all the nutrients possible. But the truth of the matter is, meat eaters can be just as malnourished, if not more than vegans. Because if you're not eating a well-balanced diet of proteins, carbs, and fibers, and if you're not eating a diet that is balanced, you're probably missing some nutrients in some form, and that's just that on that period. I don't really know what to tell you. Meat eaters can also be deficient in B12, but it's not just vegans. So, you know, and then it too, like, people act as if vegans are like these health coaches. And personally for me, as someone who's in recovery from an eating disorder, it can be really triggering having people like ask me like, how much weight have you lost since going vegan? What are some of the health benefits you've noticed? I mean, for me personally, it's not so much health benefits that I noticed since going vegan. It's health benefits that I noticed since like eating. You know what I mean? So like, I never really know what to say when people ask me that, because it's like, well, what I've noticed is going to be a lot different than what someone who maybe wasn't starving themselves for 2 years is going to notice. You know, like, I gained weight since going vegan, which is good for me and it's great for my body. My hair has grown faster than it's ever grown in my life. I don't know if that's due to veganism, but that's something I've noticed as well. So there's little things I've noticed, sure, but my hair growing faster than it ever has been in my life is partially because when you don't eat, your hair doesn't grow. So you see what I'm saying? And I also think it creates this negative idea that all vegans are like super duper something fell. It creates this idea that all vegans are supposed to be super duper skinny, and this like really bothers me. This is something that like really pisses me off, because again, veganism has literally nothing to do with like being vegan has to do with living a life that, as much as you can, excludes harming animals. You know what I mean? That's what being vegan's all about. All the other details come in later, but the whole main thing is, hey, let's not harm animals and let's not exploit them and use them for our own gain. Let's not do that. That's all it's supposed to be. But I don't know. I just really hate how diet culture like latches onto things, you know what I mean? Like, for example, keto. Keto was started, I believe, for people with seizures. I can't remember which thing it was supposed to help, but it had nothing to do with weight loss. It was supposed to help like a medical like situation. It's supposed to be about losing 10 pounds and eating butter but avoiding fruit. I don't know. I just don't think it's necessary to put this pressure on vegans that we're supposed to be healthy. And also, like I said, it's really harmful for like fat vegans, and you're creating this like standard that you have to be skinny in order to be vegan, and if you're not, then you're doing veganism wrong and you're not a real vegan. Also, why the fuck if someone wants to be vegan and they want to eat like mock meats and they want to eat all the delicious vegan snacks and treats and goodies, literally, why the fuck do you care? They're not contributing to animal harm. That's a good thing. Like as long as you're not contributing to animal harm, who gives a fuck what's on your plate? If you want to eat a plate full of apples for one meal, and then at the next meal you want to eat Impossible meat and Daiya cheese, by all means, go off. Like, I don't know. For me personally, it's about balance, right? So I try to eat a balanced diet of whole foods, and I also try to treat myself. And for me personally, it's been working out tremendously. Like, I've been enjoying this vegan thing so much, I can't even get into it. And I've tried so many new foods. I've challenged a lot of my fear foods and a lot of my food rules. There's still some things I am working on. Hey, it is what it is, you know? It's a journey. We're gonna you know, we're gonna go with the flow. But yeah, I don't know. This is sort of a messy conversation with really no, like I said, organized thoughts. Maybe I'll do a much better video on this in the future. But I just wanted to have this conversation because it's been something, like I said, that as a vegan in vegan spaces and as someone who's in recovery from an eating disorder, it's just something that I've seen that's really bothered me, because basically, all in all, I just think it puts this really unnecessary pressure on vegans and veganism. It takes away from what the focus and the spotlight of veganism is supposed to be, and it's really harmful. You're creating a very negative and sometimes unattainable body expectation for vegans. That's really not fair. That's not fucking fair. I'm sorry. Why does me not eating animals mean that I automatically have to look a certain way? Like, what the fuck? What are you doing? Like, that has nothing to do with anything. Period, period, period. I don't know. I don't know, this is sort of a conversation that I can really have for 2 hours, so I think I'm going to end it there. Like I said, this was just sort of me dipping my toesies into the little pool that is this topic, because really, if I really wanted to, I could sit down at my laptop, spend the few weeks doing the digging and the research into the more like social like dilemmas and aspects that putting this pressure on vegans have, but I'm not going to. I think that it's good to have things like the health aspect bring people into veganism, but on the flip side, I also do think that it creates this really negative standard, and I'm sorry, but I'm not doing this for health. In fact, if anything, I'm trying to run as far away from that as possible. Well, let me make that clear. This isn't a diet for me. I don't count calories. I'm not out here trying to track shit, you feel me? I did that for 2 years. And something that you learn in eating disorder recovery is separating yourself from your eating disorder. And when I look at me as a person, and when I look at who I was before my eating disorder, I didn't give a shit about like dieting and like nutrition and shit. I didn't give a fuck. I really did not. I thought it was all bullshit. And now that I'm recovering from an eating disorder, I'm finding that, yeah, I really don't care. Like, I'm sorry. I don't care. I will say, being anorexic and learning more about nutrition was very fascinating, and that was something that I appreciated from my whole experience, learning more about food. And in a way, that really helped me when going vegan, because before I went vegan, I already knew a lot about carbs, and I already knew a lot about like plant-based proteins that you can get, and a lot of my diet was already plant-based, vegan, what have you. So I don't know. That's just all I have to say about this for now. Like I said, maybe I'll dive deeper into this topic in the future. Let me know what you guys think about this. I really would love to know, because this is sort of a, like, I don't know. I just don't want to invalidate anyone's experience. Like, if you went vegan originally to lose weight and then you made the connection between ethical animals, or if you went vegan to fix your skin, or if you went vegan to solve a health issue, like, I'm not trying to like say that you're bad. I just want to make that clear. I'm just like talking about the whole like diet and like body shit that gets applied to vegans, where it's like, hey, I'm not doing it for that, and if you are, that's cool, but I'm not. I'm out here just trying to get people to care more about animals, to care more about capitalism, and to care more about our environment, because we're in some deep shit. We're in some deep shit. But I'm gonna get going. As always, y'all, a huge thank you to my sponsors, which are my patrons, my YouTube members, and anyone who donates to my Ko-fi. Thank you guys so much for choosing to support my work in this way. If you're unable to do that, please subscribe. Literally, please subscribe. I'm trying to reach 10K subscribers by the end of 2021, and I think I can do it. I think if I believe, and if I dream, and if I get on my knees and I pray really hard about it, maybe, possibly, maybe, it could be me. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, as always, y'all, stay safe out there. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. And I will see you in the next one. Alrighty, y'all. Bye.